Can you see the presentation? Okay. Let me know. I'll be waiting for you.
Ya, ahora sí.
Okay. So today's lesson is, as I have been telling you, we're going to continue working with writing. So in this case, we're going to see how to retell an event from the past in writing and how to write a biography. So let's start with the first topic, which is retelling an event from the past in writing, which is basically the same as just writing in past tense, but we're gonna see that different ways we can write about something that already passed, depending on the duration of that event. For example, the first one is the past simple. When are we going to use the past simple? Well, it says, use the past simple to talk about events or actions completed before this moment in time. For many verbs, you can use the ed ending to sign up simple past tense. So whenever we're gonna write about a situation that happened in the past and concluded, I mean finished, so we're gonna use the simple past. For example, let's say that I'm gonna be writing about my last birthday, for example. So I'm gonna start using the simple past because I'm gonna say on June 30, for example, was my birthday. I am using the simple past there. So I have here two examples. I walked to the train station. Sally talked to her teacher about the assignment. These two are actions that are already finished. However, some words that are called irregular verbs have different past tense forms. For example, instead of the think is the simple present of thought. Instead of saying think it, I'm gonna say talk. Sorry, it's taught. The teach. Instead of saying teached, it is taught. So my friend taught me to use the manual settings on the camera. I rode my bike to the beach. We have every time we see this type of grammar rules, we practice them with sentences, but now we're gonna take those sentences into paragraphs, into writings, right? So, which is not a big difference. The only thing is to connect them. I mean, we have to connect, okay, this event happened and concluded, so then I'm gonna use the simple past. Sometimes you may use the phrase used to when describing a past event or feeling. In that case, you'll use the present participle. For example, that's the formal name of the present tense of the verb you're using. So the used to, it's also an expression that helps me to talk about a situation that is not happening anymore, that it's concluded. And this is more used to describe feelings or actions that the subject used to do in the past, right? But not anymore. So when we use used to, we're gonna change the verb from past to present, just the structure of it, but it doesn't mean that it's in present, it is still in past. For example, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say that I'm talking about my last vacation or last weekend. So I'm gonna start. Last weekend, I went to Santana, for example. In that case, I'm using went, and it is in past tense, and I'm saying I went to Santana because I'm not there anymore. So it is a situation that I already concluded. And I can say, I used to live there when I was 20 years old, for example. So if I say I used to live there, it means that I don't live anymore. So that situation also already finished. I used to, it's like solía ser or solía hacer, right? Questions about when to use the simple past in writing?
No.
Okay, thank you. Then we have another tense. which is, well, another tense that is also for the past. Here says, use the past continuous when referring to an ongoing event or an event which began or happened in the past, and it can also describe an event that was interrupted. So we're gonna use the past continuous to talk about an action that was happening at a specific moment, and it could or not could be interrupted. It is like to be more specific about a specific time in the past. For past continuous, combine the past tense form of the verb to be, which is was or were, plus the present participle, which is the ing form of it, right? For example, the fire was burning across 4 paddocks. I was talking to Freya when Amber arrived. So here, for example, in the first one, it is just an action that was happening at a specific moment. In this case, when it was the fire, right? And in the second one, I have 2 actions. As you can see, the first one, it says I was talking to Freya. Then something else happened at the same time that interrupted that action that was happening at that moment when Amber arrived. So what happened first, guys, in this example? I was talking to Freya when Amber arrived. What happened first? Amber arrived, or this person was talking to Freya? Hmm?
Serialde was talking to Freya.
Yes, talking to Freya, thank you. That happened first because that was the action that was interrupted. Actually, I can start with the interrupting action instead of the interrupted one, and it is exactly the same. For example, I can say when Amber arrived, I was talking to Freya. Let's say that the word that is linking my 2 different actions there is when. Then it says, if you're writing about 2 events that happened at the same time, you can use past continuous to describe the longer event, to describe the action that happened first and that had a longer duration. For example, John dropped his books while he was running for the bus. Okay, so he dropped his books while indicates me is telling me that those 2 actions were happening at the same moment. Okay, so in this case, she was running while he dropped his book. I saw a musical while I was visiting London. So I'm gonna use the past continuous again when I'm talking about an event that had a longer duration, that was an ongoing event in the past. And it mentions or it describes about a specific moment in the past. For example, if I say, I ate sushi yesterday, for example, you don't actually know that much information. You just know that it was yesterday and it is in the past. It's concluded. And if I say, I was eating sushi when you called me, so there you have more information. You have more details about the time. Well, not necessarily the time, but about the moment I was doing that. So you know that when you call me, I was eating sushi. So you have like when that thing happened. Yes? Are we going good? So far, so good?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Another way to express the past in writing is the past perfect. And it says, use the past perfect to talk about an event that happened before something else. So let's say that I gave you the example of I was eating sushi when you called me, or I ate sushi yesterday. So the past perfect will indicate me about a situation that happened before another action concluded. For example, it says in here, past perfect can be a set of way to signal the sequence of past events. It's defined by the use of had before the past participle. The difference with the past perfect and the present perfect, for example, in the present perfect, we have and has. And in the past perfect, we only have had plus the past participle. And it is used to talk about events that happened before another action finished. I don't know if I'm being clear. For example, it wasn't until I go to the checkout, I realized I had forgotten to bring my wallet. Here I have different actions. It says in here, it wasn't until, so it means that until that point or that period in the past is when this person realized, I got to the checkout, I realized, so I have there two situations that were in the past. So since I have like a sequence of events, before those two actions, I'm gonna use the past perfect. I had forgotten to bring my wallet. Entonces utilizo el past perfect para hablar sobre una situación que pasó antes de que otros eventos terminaran. For example, another example. When I opened the door, I saw my dog had my trainers. So what happened first? I have to identify it. I opened the door. What happened next? I saw my dog. So it is a sequence. So the past perfect is going to be the last thing that happened in that sequence. You can use both the past perfect and simple past in the same sentence. Why? Because since it is a sequence, you have to mention what happened first, what happened then, and then the last, let's say the last action is the one that is going to be with the past participle, because it's the one that it is explaining that, because the two actions that already finished are the ones that are in simple past. So then there I'm gonna place the past participle. So in that case, you will use a verb in past perfect to sign on that action that happened before others in the same sentence. So again, the past perfect is going to be placed or is going to be used before other actions that concluded, okay? Remember, past perfect conveys a sequence of events, and using it implies readers can expect more information. So when you're writing and you're using the past participle, the past perfect, sorry, you have to be very detailed so the reader has the complete information about what you're writing about. Clear about this past perfect tense? Yes, no? Okay, thank you. And therefore we have the last, now we have the last tense used for past tense, for past events. It says use the past perfect continuous. So we just saw the past perfect, then we're gonna see the past perfect continuous. For actions which just started in the past, continued, and then ended in the past. So in this case, remember, as in the previous slide, I told you that the past perfect is used for actions that are already finished. So in this case, I'm gonna use the past perfect for actions that started in the past, continued for a period of time in the past, and I already finished. I are already concluded. Use have been, this is the structure, which is had been plus the past participle, which is the present continuous, using the ing, sorry, the present participle. And the present participle verb to construct sentences with past perfect continuous. For example, Jennifer had been working at the company for 3 months when she met the CEO. Okay, so what does this mean? She had been working. She started working in the past. She spent 3 months in the past, and she finished working in the company. So all of that it is in this sentence is already finished, okay? Mark had been going to the gym twice a day before his shoulder injury, which means that he's not going to the gym anymore because he's injured. Is it clear when to use the past perfect continuous? Just like a wrap up of this topic of the past perfect continuous. It is used to talk about a situation that started in the past, continued in the past, and finished in the past. So everything is in the past. Yes? Thank you. And there we're gonna see our last topic of the day. and it says write a biography. So everybody knows probably what a biography is. I think so. What is a biography? Well, when we write about the life of someone else. So what are the steps to write a biography? Okay, so step number one, choose your subject. So you first need to choose your character. It could be someone famous. It could be, it doesn't actually have to be someone famous, but those are like the most common ones if you want to write, right? It should be not necessarily famous, but recognizable because, I mean, if you're going to write about someone else, it has to be someone that is going to be interesting for someone else, right? For the reader. Since you'll need to do research because you have to investigate, you have to research about this person you are going to write about. You cannot write a biography about someone if you don't know the necessary information to talk about this person. And they need to be someone who you can find articles and books about. It will be best if the person is someone you're interested in. That will make it easier for you to get excited about doing the research. So the first thing you have to do is research about this person. Use more than one source because maybe in one source you'll find information that is interesting, but not enough to talk about this person, right? So then you will have to do a lot of research. And the advantage for us is that on internet, we can have many, many different useful sources and websites. The only thing we have to do is to verify the information to know if the information is real. Okay, so step two, do research. Once you have chosen your character, you have to read about it. The more you read about your subject, the clearer a picture you'll have of who they are, what they accomplish, and why they're famous. Different writers will have varying opinions and information about your chosen person. So it's best to read a wide range of sources, as I told you before. As you do your research, take notes of interesting facts, dates, events, and names. It is very important to have information related to the dates, like when this person was born, when this person got married, when this person died, if it is a case of, and names. I mean, who was his mother, father, brothers, etc. As you do read, take note as well of particularly strong opinions, especially if they are opposing or contradictory of your subject. So once you have chosen your character and research about it, you have now to write an outline. So make an outline of your essay. Your essay should follow the standard 5-paragraph format, which is an introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion. If you remember, in the last Monday, we saw about how to make the paragraphs with the concluding paragraph, supporting paragraph, sentences with the 3 different sentences. The one that I forgot the name. We have the supporting sentence, the concluding sentence, and the first one. Do you remember the name of it, guys? Help me with it, please. I'm blocked. Starting was it? No, I don't remember. Let me check. No, it wasn't introduction. Introduction is a complete paragraph. Topic sentence. So we have the topic sentence, and in all of the paragraphs have to have it. Remember that all of the paragraphs must have a topic sentence, supporting sentence, and concluding sentence. And the paragraphs are different things, right? So your biography has to have an introduction, body, and conclusion. Your outline will help you organize the information you gather during your research while you consider which ideas to include in each paragraph. This is like to organize. Okay, I have this information, what goes first, what goes next, and what goes at the end. Step 4, write your introduction paragraph. Your introduction paragraph is your chance to engage the reader and get them excited about checking out your essay. In order to get your reader hooked, try these introduction styles. Start with a quote either by or about your subject. For example, what is this? Something that your character said. And a quote that comes to my mind could be, I don't know. Let me search for one because I don't want to say something that is not famous quotes. Let's see. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. Does anybody know who said this? Does anybody know what is this? Give me a second. Okay, so does anybody know who said that? What I just said? Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. That was said by John Lennon, okay? So I can start my biography with that quote. That is just an example. And then I'm going to start writing. So that is something that the person can get the attention on and be interested in reading. So that is an example. Let's start with a quote. Something that really reveals the essence of who they are or where. Include a fascinating story or anecdote about them. So write something that probably not anybody knows or that it is very fun about this character. And describe an incredible accomplishment they achieve. Of course, that you have to make sure the reader will get the complete idea of this character. Why did you write about this person? Okay. Develop your thesis statement. Finally, you'll need to write a thesis statement. Your thesis statement will be the crux of which the rest of your essay hangs, so pay careful attention to crafting it. Some examples of thesis statements. What is this? These are examples. Though Marilyn Monroe had fame and fortune, she was a troubled woman whose self-destructive habits may have ultimately led to her tragic early death. So it's just like writing in a very dramatic way, like a wrap-up of all of what you wrote about. Novel laureate Gabriel Garcia Marquez invented a new genre of writing called magical realism, which had a powerful impact on the literary world and influenced many writers who came after him. So this is just what we're gonna find, like when you open a document, you read this first. Once you read it, and if you consider you're gonna find information, you continue reading. If you don't find this type of statements, it's gonna be kind of hard to get the attention of the other people. Estas aparecen, ¿cómo se llaman? Son tipo synopsis. I'm not sure if that is how they find it, how they're called, but we find them like at the beginning of our writing, and it is not the introduction. I mean, it's not part of the biography. It's just like a way to introduce your work. Okay. So, and then the last one, this is where you'll get to include the information you gather in your research. Make sure you stick close to the theme you introduce in your thesis. For example, if you're writing about Marilyn Monroe, you may want to include facts about her troubled childhood or marriages, as well as her substances prescription pill abuse. You'll also want to let readers about her films, interests, and lifestyle. Who were the people that were close to her? What did they have to say? This is just an example with Marilyn Monroe, but you can do it about whoever you want, right? What kind of different opinions did the author have about her? Include contradictory information to provide a more complete and complex picture of your subject. So this has to be about how you're gonna place the information and what type of information you must include in your body paragraphs. And therefore, we have the conclusion. This is where you wrap up the essay and draw your conclusions about your subject. You want to end your essay with a bang, not a whistle. Don't simply restate your thesis or the points you made in your body paragraphs. Instead, reach beyond that by tying their work or legacy into modern life. Consider addressing the following questions. Okay, so once you finish, ask yourself, checking your biography, if you answer these questions. What kind of contribution did they make to their chosen field? This is like going in the conclusion, right? How is their work relevant today? What is their legacy? How are they remembered? What or who did they have a major influence on? So if you answer, let's say not all, because probably the person is not like that very famous, but if you are answering most of these questions in your conclusion, it means that it is complete. The best biography essays not only explore the person's life and work, but offer little known facts about them. Don't settle for superficial accounts, dig deeper to discover more about them. What does dig deeper means? That you have to do a very well research, not just go into the most obvious ones, right? Okay, guys, basically that's it. Do you have any questions about what you're gonna be doing? I'm gonna actually show you what is the activity for this Monday, for this week. Let me know when you're able to see it, okay? Okay, so it says, writing from past events, instructions, write a paragraph about a past event. It could be about whatever. It could be something that happened to you. It could be something that that someone else experienced. It could be about whatever, but in the past. Make sure you're using the tenses shown in the presentations, which are the past simple, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. Highlight or underline the different tenses in the past you use. Okay, so it doesn't have to be long. With a paragraph that contains all the different tenses, it's good. Okay, and then the other part says biography. Here, I can scroll down. Give me a... Okay, so it says instructions. Write a short biography of a famous person. With short, I mean that don't get too complicated, guys. I know that I told you all what had to include, but I mean, it is just a homework. I don't need you to make like a very long biography. So write a short biography of a famous person. Start with an introductory paragraph, write 2 body paragraphs, and then with a concluding paragraph, which means that these are 4 different paragraphs. Use time expressions practice in the presentation and write about 150 words. Do you have any question, guys?
No, teacher.
Okay. Well, basically, guys, that's it. If you don't have any question, I'm going to finish in here. Let me just show the evidence. I don't know if someone already sent the picture.
Ahí lo voy a tomar, teacher.
Okay. Creo que ya la tomé y la mandé, no sé, según yo. Es que está muy lento.
Ya la mandé, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Okay, guys, well, that's it for today. See you on Friday.
See you, teacher.
Bye.
Bye.